Have you ever wondered where Halloween came from? Halloween's origins started back 2,000 years ago from the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts lived in an area that is now Ireland, England, and northern France. According to the Celtic calendar, October 31st was the night before the new year. They believed the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred, and the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. To commemorate the event, Druids, or Celtic priests, built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory. In the course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the Celtic celebration of Samhain. First was Feralia, honoring the passing of the dead, and Pomona, honoring the Roman goddess of fruit, which possibly explains the tradition of bobbing for apples. On May 13, 609 AD, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome in honor of all Christian martyrs and established All Martyrs' Day. Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include all saints and all martyrs, and moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st. In 1000 AD, the Church made November 2nd All Souls' Day, a day to honor the dead. This day was celebrated with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. The All Saints' Day celebration on November 1st was also called All Hallows' Day. The night before it was called All Hallows' Eve, which was eventually renamed as Halloween. Halloween made its way to America but was not popular in colonial New England because of the rigid Protestant belief system there. However, in the southern colonies, European ethnic groups and American Indians meshed, and a distinct American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebrations included play parties, which were public events. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. Colonial Halloween festivities also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief-making of all kinds. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing from the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Trick-or-treat origins began from European traditions as Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to make Halloween into a holiday mostly about community and neighborly get-togethers. Starting in the 1900s, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, foods of the season, and festive costumes. But newspapers and leaders did not support frightening or superstitious customs of Halloween, and it stayed this way until the 1940s. By the 1950s, town leaders had successfully limited Halloween to young children. Due to the high number of young children born during the 50s baby boom, parties moved from town civic centers to the classroom or home where they could easily be accommodated. Between the 1920s and 1950s, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating was revived, but instead of food and money was replaced with small treats to prevent getting pranked or tricked. Thus, a new American tradition was born. $6 billion a year is spent on Halloween, making it the second largest holiday. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to Illustrate to Educate to support more videos being made.